Well, I guess it's time to go to sleep. No. No, I'm tired of running. I'm tired of sleeping through the night and being fearful of darkness and all of the creatures in it. Yeah, it's on now. It took some time, some forethought, and an awful lot of grinding, but we have officially reached the early game overpowered stage here in All the Mods 7. And welcome back to the show. This is Akoto. This is All the Mods 7. And yes, I said early game overpowered because it's all the mods. There is a late game overpowered too. But if you'll notice, we're going to go through everything, and I'm going to show you how to actually get to this stage yourself today. So those of you who are out there playing the pack, you've probably, noticed that all the mods packs, typically speaking, you get overpowered really fast. I mean, you get to the point where it's just like you are a god of death and nothing can stand in front of you, especially when you start getting things like Allthemodium and Vibranium and Unobtainium and all that other stuff. But you can do this early game too. You don't need to actually get to the Allthemodium stage before you're overpowered in this pack. You can actually do it within the first couple of days of actually playing the pack itself. It just takes a little bit of thought and a little bit of grinding to be able to get there. So let's go over what we have. So we mentioned last time that now that we have this enchanting set up, our gear is going to get stupid really fast. And it really, really has. So if you look at what I've got here, we've got the platinum armor, which is not the best armor you can get in the game, obviously, but it's some very good, like, diamond replacement armor. And with some basic enchantments, we actually have some pretty powerful armor. So notice on the helmet we've got Prot 3 Unbreaking, Prot 4 Unbreaking and Thorns, Prot 3 Unbreaking and Magnet, which is more useful than I thought it would be, and Fire Protection, Feather Falling, and Unbreaking on the boots. Just because you get to the point where protection starts to get diminishing returns. So if you put protection on 3 pieces and then put something else on the other, I like fire protection because I fall in lava a lot. So there's that. So these were just regular enchantments, by the way. But now we get into the really dumb stuff. So last episode we did the nickel hammer. We got efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 on it. In between episodes I actually created a couple other things like the aluminum axe, the crimson iron shovel, and I have my 2 pickaxes here. This one has Silk Touch, efficiency and unbreaking, because you always need a Silk Touch pickaxe. And this is Crimson Iron from Silent Gear. We're using Crimson Iron because it's the same level as Diamond, and it's repairable using our repair kits over here. But then we have this one, and this is my Fortune pickaxe that I was able to get in between episodes. So it's Fortune 3, efficiency 4, unbreaking 3. Pretty standard, right? You'll notice it has 2 other enchantments on it called Experience Boost and Mending. Now, Experience Boost is stupid. Experience Boost is really, really dumb. Allow me to demonstrate. So here we are down in our mine that actually does meet up with the Dungeon Tactics dungeon that I found on, day 1. And here we have some inner crystal ore. Now, normally this gives you nothing. It gives you crystals and like a little touch of experience. I've bled myself down to 4 levels to show you how this works. So watch down in the bottom my level count as we mine this inert crystal ore with this pick that has experience boost 3 on it. So there's 7, and we got almost 3 levels out of that. Dumb. it's so dumb. So how about this tin ore? Hey, look, we just got another, 5 boxes of experience off one 1 piece of tin ore. But that's not all. That's not how stupid this gets. So let's see how much more stupid it gets. So let's go down in here into the Dungeon Tactics Dungeon area. And you know what? I want this smooth stone. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this smooth stone. Yes, that's right. You get experience from just mining. And I got another level out of that. Out of just mining smooth stone. Dumb. It's so dumb. Oh, what was in this box, by the way? Oh, nothing good. So, just mining anything. Smooth stone, stone bricks, cobblestone, anything. You mine anything with this pickaxe now, and you get experience out of the deal. Oop, I dropped my fire. Let's put our fire back down. There we go. So anything you mine with, you get experience with this experience boosted pickaxe over here. So it's just ridiculous. And this is experience boost 3. I think there's 1, 2, and 3. The closest I've been able to figure out, experience boost 1 gives you about 50% more experience from mining. Experience boost 2 gives you double. Experience boost 3 gives you triple the experience. So anything you're mining that would normally give you experience gives you even more. Anything you're mining that would normally not give you experience gives you experience. Dumb. It's dumb. So now, obviously, having this on this pickaxe is nice because, you know, it's also Fortune 3, so anything you're mining is giving you more, and it's giving you more experience. Ideally, what you want to do is create one of these, a hammer, out of something. I don't care what. You can make it out of stone, doesn't matter. And put experience boost 3 on it, and just sit there and, like, mine a 3x3 and get tons upon tons of experience out of the deal doing it. So, yeah, it's really stupid. It's really, really stupid. But the stupid doesn't stop there, because if you notice, I've also got mending on this. Well, how did I get mending? There's a number of different ways to get mending in this, especially since I don't have villagers, so I had to sort of figure out, you know, a different way to do it. There's actually 2 different ways to do it. One is this, over here. This little thing right here, this water strainer and this fish trap that we've got here. So obviously, I've got, you know, the reinforced fisherman strainer, which gives you a ton of stuff. It gives you more efficiency. It's also enchantable, so you can enchant it with fortune if you really want to, and some other things. Throw a bait pot in it, and then some bait, and you'll start catching fish, and then everything you would catch with fishing normally. Enchanted books, sticks, leather, string, what have you. So you catch a whole bunch of different stuff with that. You can get mending books out of this. Now, it's not efficient, but it does work. So step the first is to get an enchanting setup, to get some basic enchants. Step the second, make one of these, and then just make a worm bin, throw like your extra crops in it. If you're growing a whole bunch of potatoes, you can do that. Apples and sweet berries and watermelons work, and that's what I've been doing, is sweet berries and watermelons to make it worms. You throw worms in there, you catch stuff. So that's one way to get mending. The other way to get mending is to raid Dungeon Tactics dungeons. Because I have now, because I'm just ridiculously overpowered, I have cleared out that Dungeon Tactics dungeon that's on the other side of my house here. Completely, all the way from top to bottom. There is nothing left in there at this point, other than one, I might add, little mob spawner. And it's the Wither Skeleton mob spawner, which we're going to do something with a little bit later. If you clear all of that stuff out, chances are that you're going to run across a couple of enchanted mobs here and there. And enchanted mobs in this pack drop some really fun stuff. But one of the things that a lot of the enchanted mobs drop are these shields. And these shields come with Unbreaking 3 and Mending on them. Notice I've got one on me that I've been using. They also drop diamond gear, iron gear with some interesting stuff on it. Gold armor, leather armor, and a lot of those armors will be enchanted with some stuff that you probably want, like Fortune, for instance, or Depthstrider. I'm definitely going to be pulling Depthstrider out this to put on my boots. Aquafinity. All of the shields they drop, though, if they're enchanted, they're all going to be this. They're all going to have Unbreaking 3 and Mending on them, which is, you know, helpful, right? You can have an Unbreaking 3 Mending shield. It does have Curse of Vanishing, so it does go away, darn, if you die. But they're all available there. So it's nice to have a shield like that, right? Yes, it is. But you can't really do much else with it, can you? Au contraire, you can do a whole lot with it because this mod is in the pack. This is Corail Tombstone. Now, first of all, they just look cool. And I made one because it looked cool. So it's like a neat little gravestone kind of thing. However, there's a wonderful little added benefit to this because once a day, give or take, you hear thunder hit somewhere and you're like, where's the lightning coming from? Well, the lightning's coming from lightning basically hitting this, and it will put a soul into this tombstone. And with that soul, you can use these. These are books of disenchantment. So you can strip enchantments off of items and put them onto this book, which turns it into an enchanted book with whatever the first enchantment is on this. So it goes in order. So in this particular case, if I stripped this off, it would give me an Unbreaking 3 book. And then it would keep the Mending on there. So I just put it back in here. Lightning strikes again. The next day rolls around. I go get another book, and I take Mending off of this, and then I can put it on whatever I want. So I've got Mending on this, and then I've also got Mending on my sword. And we're going to go over the sword here because the sword's important. Because the sword is dumb. Now, this isn't like I got this all at once kind of thing. So sharpness, life leech, and venom were the ones that I actually got off of the enchanting table. Life Leech is amazing because Life Leech basically will give you a percentage of whatever health you are doing in damage to whatever you're hitting with it. So if you walk up to a mob and hit it for 10 damage, Life Leech 2 will give you about 6 of that back as health. So in other words, these huge enchanted mobs that hit you like a truck, well, you don't really have to worry about them anymore with Life Leech on there. Plus it also gave me, I got Venom out of a book from the fishing thing, so that gives you a damage over time effect. I put Tombstone Soulbound on it because I don't want to lose the sword. And then, of course, I've got Mending and Unbreaking on it from stripping it off of one of those shields. And then I also was able to put Disarming on, which is amazing, especially for the Dungeon Tactics dungeon mobs, because half of them are armed. Well, you knock their weapon off, and then you can pick it up later and then come back and disenchant it, or you can strip the enchantments off, or you can just throw it in the salvager that you've built to get a whole bunch of other stuff. To give you an idea, when I started clearing this out off camera, when I started clearing out that Dungeon Tactics dungeon, aha! Our tombstone is ready. I can show you how that works. So when I started clearing off that Dungeon Tactics dungeon, there was so much loot that dropped between the looting sword and disarming on here that I went from having about 30 diamonds to what I have now, which is 164. Now, some of these I've mined, but only maybe about 30 of them. The rest of them I've just gotten from getting diamond gear, stripping enchantments off of it, and then throwing it into the salvager. Look at that, diamonds. It's into the salvager and getting more diamonds that way. So if we look at our stocks here, we've got 400 iron and then a bunch of iron dust sitting over here. We've got 500 gold. We've got, because I broke down all the bows as well, we've got 200 string, and then we've got the 130 some odd diamonds. Dumb. So here's how this works. Notice we now have this little purple thing floating around here. That's a soul that's bound to the tombstone. In our hand, we've got a book of disenchantment, and in our offhand, we've got this pair of iron boots that I want to actually pull all of the enchantments off of because I want Depthstrider off of this. So I'll probably just end up disenchanting the Protection 3. We go over here, we right-click, and you'll notice it'll say you stripped some enchantments from the item. There's one left. You go look, and you have stripped off Protection 3, and now there's just nothing but Depthstrider left on the boots. So the next time we do this, we can strip the Depthstrider off, put it on our boots, and... Oop, I gotta take that out of my offhand. And we will have basically the super boots at that point, other than, of course, Mending, which we're going to put on those as well. So we'll have Fire Protection, Feather Falling, Depthstrider, and Unbreaking, which is beautiful. I don't really need this protection. What the... Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, neat. So we can put books on things. I wonder... Ooh, we can decorate our house some more. Neat. So, let's see. Where's a table? Where's a table? Where's a table? Can we put it on here? We totally can. That's neat. I like that. You know what? Let's put it right there. Oh, it changes colors depending on what you... That's... Okay, that's just cool. Okay, I find something new every day. So yeah, so because of all of this, let's go put all this stuff away here while I'm talking to you. So because of that, we've gotten to the point of the ridiculous with our gear. So we have the Super Sword of Doom, and this is as cool as this is going to get. You could make it cooler, however, I just sort of put stuff on there as I got it. So I mean, obviously we could have Sharpness 5, we could have Life Leech 3, Venom 3. We could have better stuff on here, but it's got to the point now where this sword is as cool as I can make it with enchantments, just simply because of just the way I put everything on there, which wasn't the brightest way of doing it. So it's a combination of things that are it's gonna give you the ability to be overpowered early on. Let's go ahead and grab all this out of there. We can use the experience to repair our sword to complete health. Nice. So it's a combination of things that's going to get you to this point early in the pack. So you need sort of a different... And of course, is this the only way to do it? No, of course not. There's different ways to do it. You can use bees to get tons of resources that you can then turn into gear, that you can then enchant with ridiculous things. You can actually start a mob farm, like a sky mob farm, and just use that to get all of this various different gear that you can either wear or break down. You can use the Tombstone mod. And for me, the combination of the enchanting setup, the Tombstone mod, fishing, and then just plain old-fashioned adventure and exploration, which is my favorite thing to do in pretty much Minecraft in general, is adventure and exploration, but especially in packs like this, where the more you explore, the more you are rewarded, which I really appreciate. I appreciate the fact that it's not just all about tech or all about farming or all about resource gathering. It being an adventure and exploring in the pack will reward you with a lot of different stuff, including some really dumb gear after you've done a little bit of it. So finding one of these dungeon tactics dungeons and then getting a setup that's like this is going to get you to overpowered very, very, very quickly. You don't need all the modium. You don't need vibranium. You don't need unobtainium. You don't need like mystical agriculture for, the ridiculous mystical agriculture armor. All you really need is just a basic setup. That's all I have here. I just have a basic enchanting setup, my tombstone, my fishing thing, and a salvager to get more resources out of the stuff that I actually find. So I always prefer to play packs as an adventurer, as an explorer, because that's how I have the most fun in Minecraft, is I like going out and finding cool stuff. I like building too, I mean, obviously, but the pack is built so that there are multiple ways to go about becoming, the god of death within 4 or 5 days of playing the pack. It's built that way intentionally because basically it's an all the mods pack. All the mods is how quickly can you get completely overpowered. Well, it took us 5 episodes, and here we are. We are completely and utterly ridiculous. We've got our unbreaking mending shield. We've got our super sword. We've got all of our tools that are just stupid. I mean, it's awesome. Now, having said that, am I invulnerable? No, I am not invulnerable. I am, as the tick would put it, nigh invulnerable. There's not a lot that really worries me right now. The things that worry me are like falling in lava, so the nether, and being overwhelmed by multiple enchanted mobs, which can happen in this pack very easily. So I'm nigh invulnerable, but I am not invincible. It's not to the point of invincibility yet, like with the Althemodium armor or the Vibranium armor or what have you. So I haven't gotten to quite that point. But I'm close. I'm getting closer every day. And the other thing about the adventure and exploration is you're going to find stuff out there. There are things that are going to drop from these enchanted zombies, regardless of whether you have looting or not, that's going to be really helpful for you. Like this backpack that we found on episode 1. This necklace that dropped it's a thorn pendant. So it basically has a thorns effect on the pendant itself. It only has a chance to do it, but it can do it. This ring. Now, I actually made this ring, but you can find other rings like that, too. So this ring actually will give you +1 reach distance, which is really, really good when you have, like, fast zombies running at you. So if you look at it, we've got... where to go? So it's a tier 2 ring. I just made it out of aluminum and an emerald, and it gives me +1 reach distance. So it's a very basic ring. But those kind of things will drop off of mobs that you can actually then use to make yourself even more powerful. So that's how you kind of become nigh invulnerable within just a couple of days of playing the pack. And to make some of this stuff, obviously, enchanting setups, everyone knows how to make those. The fishing is very simple, and the tombstone isn't all that hard either. So if you come in here, making these is not difficult. So, and for instance, this is the one I have. I have the Subaraki's Grave, and it takes 4 dark marble and an Essence of Undeath. Now, Essence of Undeath, that might be a little bit harder to come across, but it's not terribly difficult. Mobs will drop these occasionally. So as soon as a mob drops one of these, you want to make one of these tombstones. And the dark marble is just stone and some graves dust. Graves dust is another one of those things that mobs will drop quite a bit. If you take a look in here, you can see I've got 20 of them just sitting here sort of off to the side. I've been using them to make the books. Speaking of which, we need to make more of the books, so let's go ahead and do this. And we'll make 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So we're out of Graves Dust now, but if you go over here, so now we've got 5 more of these books of disenchantment. Let's go ahead and put them in our drawer so we don't forget them. So the Graves Dust is important for those, and also for making the tombstone bits for the Coriel's tombstone stuff. So that's really easy. It's not difficult at all. And I think there's other ways to power them up further, but I haven't really done a whole lot of checking in here to see exactly how to do it. Like half the stuff in here, I don't even know what it does. Like the poppets can give you different effects. The scrolls allow you to do different things. So you can make you can make a scroll of feather falling with a feather and a strange scroll. Strange scroll is 4 sticks, 3 paper, 2 Graves Dust. So you can make all these different scrolls. You can basically make yourself tablets, so you can teleport to world spawn. You can go to your respawn point. You can go to different locations, so it's sort of like a waystone. So there's different stuff in here that I haven't really tried out yet. Like the bone needle, I haven't tried that one. I know that can be also kind of dumb. So there's a lot of stuff in here you can actually use. So that's the Coriel Tombstone. But then you go over to the what is it? Was it the water? Yes. So water strainer. So this is ridiculously simple. So in order to make that fishing setup that I've got, you need 2 things. You need a strainer base, which takes wood, a chest, some iron bars, and a hopper. Pretty easy. And then you also need to have a strainer to go in it. I chose the Reinforced Fisherman Strainer, which is 4 bamboo and an obsidian mesh. You can make a regular fisherman strainer with just a string mesh and bamboo. You do need bamboo for this, so that's going to be maybe your limiting factor. And then to make the different meshes is real simple. String mesh, iron mesh, obsidian mesh. Obsidian mesh, if you can, make that one, because you can then make this Reinforced Fisherman Strainer, which has 8,000 uses versus the regular fisherman strainer that's 120. So then you just make yourself a garden trowel, go dig up some worms. Ooh, super worm. I haven't. Oh, that's creative only. Darn. You dig up some worms, make yourself a bait pot, which is just a flower pot and some iron bars. Toss all those in the Reinforced Fisherman's Strainer into the strainer base, and then just put it in water with one block of water above it, like I've got set up here, and you start getting various different stuff in here. So how many worms do I have, by the way? I've got 6. So we'll go ahead and toss those in. So you toss in the worms, and you can see it actually is working right now. The bait pot decreases the amount of bait that you have to use, which is nice. Highly recommended. And then, of course, the Reinforced Fisherman Strainer, also recommended. And then we might try enchanting this a little bit later to see what it does. So those are the 2 of the big pieces, is the tombstone and the strainer, along with your enchanting setup. And then, of course, the salvager to get more resources out of the stuff that drops off of these mobs is always good. Looting is always good. The life leech is amazing. And then the experience boost is just ridiculous. It's, as I said a few times now, dumb. And to give you an idea of how dumb all of this is, here's your average skeleton. Hit him once, hit him twice, down he goes, and I lost no health whatsoever because I basically leeched back everything he'd gotten off of me with his arrows with my life leech ability that's built into the bow. It's amazing and ridiculous, and I love it. So, and then we can just go over here and mend up our shield by mining some coal and get a whole bunch of levels, because the experience boost is also ridiculous. So yeah, it's just amazing how quickly in these packs with all the mods that you can get to this point. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you'd think that, oh, I'm overpowered. There's nothing that can hurt me. It's boring. It's really not. Because you spend the first, good day or so in this pack, honestly, just getting your ass kicked by everything. Like, you are afraid of everything in this pack because everything is just so super duper powerful, especially the enchanted mobs that are floating around with, like, the gear on. And you're getting clown hammered by them. And so it's not like, once you get to this point, you're like, well, there's no challenge left in the pack. There's still challenge. There's absolutely still challenge. And you can absolutely still die if you're not careful. But it becomes about 10,000 times more fun when you can do this and just wreck everything in front of you, losing no health because you've got all of the cool enchantments. Here's an enchanted zombie to give you an idea. So he's the enchanted zombie of you can't run, and then he's dead. And he dropped a cookie. Why, thank you, Mr. Zombie. You dropped a cookie. So, yeah, that enchanted zombie, 4 hits. 4 hits dead. Whereas before that would have taken us, like, 2 or 3 minutes. Creepers, no longer even an issue. Dunk, dead. And now that we have 37 levels from literally killing a half dozen mobs and mining, like, 4 things of gold because dumb. Let's see what we can get out of the strainer base. So I haven't actually tried to enchant one of these yet. So let's grab our lapis. You know what? Let's grab some books too, just in case. And we can put efficiency. What happens if we put efficiency on it? What do we get here? Efficiency. So just efficiency. So it basically gives you more efficiency on there. Do I like that? I don't know if I like that. I want fortune, luck of the sea, whatever it is that actually... Ooh, our tombstone's ready. I don't know if you guys ever watched the old Addams Family show, but that was like their doorbell was lightning and thunder, and then alerts would show up. You rang. Or maybe there's the Munsters. It was one of them. Either the Munsters or the Addams Family. One of them had like screaming, and one of them had thunder and lightning and stuff. So anyway, so I don't think I like that. But let's see what we can get if we try again, shall we? Now we got Unbreaking 3. Do we try it? Let's try it. We can always undo it if we don't like it. Just Unbreaking 3. Thanks, game. Appreciate it. Okay, 3rd time's the charm, right? Fortune, yes, that is what we want right there. It only gives us fortune, but that's okay because the strainer base has 7,000 uses left. So I think we're good. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and go put this back in to our strainer that we've got down here. So now we have a fortune 3 strainer base. So now we're going to get more, even more, like, cool stuff. So now that we've reached the completely overpowered early game stage, what are we going to do next? Well, we're going to do 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a wither skeleton farm because the wither skeletons drop the best loot. They drop diamond gear, they drop those shields, they drop weapons, they drop grave dust, of course, and with like beheading, they will also drop their skulls, which we obviously want wither skeleton skulls because we want a beacon. We want to kill a wither and get a beacon. Absolutely. So that's going to be the first thing we do is we're going to go use that wither skeleton spawner that I found down in the Dungeon Tactics dungeon, and we're going to make a mob spawner out of it, and we're going to see how dumb we can make all of this. So let's go ahead and grab some materials and head down there. And it's done. I know that was pretty abrupt, but yeah, it's done. I just built a kind of a very standard spawner-based farm here. So as you can see, the spawner is up in there, and we've got a room down here, and we've got a waystone that takes us back home, so we can just waystone back and forth, rather than having to actually run down here all the way, and then run back all the way up. So, simple design. We took a lot of this red nether brick from the bottom level of the Dungeon Tactics dungeon, and used it for the walls. We used some netherwood slabs for the floor. We used some nether bricks for the ceiling, and then we used these red nether brick lanterns from Additional Lanterns, which I love this mod, and the nether brick chain for a few lanterns in here, and then some red stained glass. Very simple design, and we're going to upgrade these chests too, so we can store stuff in them at some point as well. So I've been at this for about, 5-6 minutes. Notice my level count is asinine, and then notice also, I'm going to put that in there. This is all the stuff we've gotten just from like the 5 minutes I've been in here. And the way I designed this is if I stand over here, spawner is active, and wait for it. There we go. I knew he was coming. So yeah, if I stand over in this corner right here, spawner is active, so I just basically have this spawn up the skeletons. But then if I go and stand over on that side, the spawner deactivates because I'm too far away from the mob cage, which is kind of how I had it planned. So, and obviously there's no tenderizing feature here because I just wanted to go ahead and get this quickly built, put together so we could actually get some stuff out of it. So we need some work, but for right now, it'll work just fine. So as you can see, we get skeletons come down here, you kill them with your stupid, ridiculous, overpowered sword, and then all the drops go into this golden hopper, into the obsidian chest that I've got over here, and that's it. It's real straightforward. But yeah, see, so you don't get overwhelmed, because the problem is that sometimes you can spawn in some very unhappy enchanted wither skeletons, especially ones that have of the bomber at the end. I found that one out the hard way, because of the bomber will basically explode like creepers, kind of. So yeah, he blew up this part of it, and then like all the skeletons swarmed out, and I had to run away and come back after they despawn and like rebuild everything. So you got to be a little bit cautious if you're using this kind of setup with a spawner like this in this pack, because it's not just the wither skeletons that they can do that. It's pretty much any kind of enchanted mob has a chance of having the of the bomber trait, and that's bad. You don't want that. So, but this is what we got from just a few minutes down here. It's kind of overpowered because I mean, look at all this is all diamond gear that we've got here. We'll take the grave dust and the bones with us too while we're at it, and you can also basically turn this into a coal farm because it's going to give you unlimited coal too. So yeah, that's all the diamond gear that we just got that we can go back home and turn into. There's my waystone there, and turn into diamonds from the salvager. It's the theme of this episode. Dumb. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. There's one other thing I want to show you though before we end the episode. And that is a little thing from Cyclic called the Crushing Macerator. So remember how I was sort of lamenting earlier on that we needed blaze rods to do a whole bunch of different stuff. Blaze rods and blaze powder. Well, I was looking through and discovered that with this machine, you can actually, if we go ahead and go into the different things, we can make blaze powder, and I believe we can also make blaze rods. Yes, and we can make blaze rods off netherrack. So we don't need anything. All we need is this crushing macerator, and we can make our own blaze rods, which means blaze powder, which means potions, which means all sorts of different stuff, which is fantastic. And it also means this little thing up here, the fire charm that I've been wanting to get, as well as the forester, which is another machine I want to put together here. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing built like right now because the only thing we need actually is a flint block, and notice we only have 8 flint, so we need to go out and get some flint real fast, come back, and we can make this macerator, and we can add it to the growing list of machines that we have in here. As you can see, I'm already kind of preparing for this because we have the melting chamber and the solidification chamber. The solidification chamber is where we make our crystalline amber. So that is already put together. This has already been put together so that we actually have liquid hot magma in here. So we already have liquid hot magma. So all we need is the macerator, and we can put that up here, and we can get everything that we want out of it, which is great. So let's get some flint, and I'll be right back after I sleep. So now that we have everything we need for our macerator, there we go. We have one crushing macerator. Very simple to make, actually. So it's just some compressed cobblestone, the flint block, and a couple of stone cutters. And that's it. That's literally all it takes. So fabulous. All right. So now does the macerator need power is the next question. It probably does. It totally does. Okay. So let's put Mr. Macerator right here. And fully powered. Nice. Very cool. I did upgrade our solar array to have 3 hardened solar panels rather than just the 3 leadstone. We now have 3 leadstone and 3 hardened out there, so it's much more efficient. So now we have the crushing macerator, and the crushing macerator is what we're going to put our netherrack in, and that is going to give us all of the blaze rods we could ever want, which is fabulous. So in they go. There we go, always on. I was going to say, why isn't this working? But now it's working. And this whole setup, by the way, the solidification chamber, the melting chamber, the macerator, does that make a sound when it... Oh, yeah, it makes a sound. So there's a chance of it dropping blaze rods. Okay, I mean, that could be worse, I guess, but you know what, let's make sure that actually does the thing that I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does, so... Yeah, 15% chance of getting those. So there's a 5% chance of getting blaze rods. Okay, so it's not as cool as I thought it was, but at least it's going to give us a few blaze rods. We only need like 5, honestly. We only need like 5 or 6 blaze rods to be able to do what I want to do with them. So, right now it's making cobblestone, but we'll see. We'll come back and see how it's doing here. But yeah, this whole setup is going to be moved. These 3 machines are going to be moving probably down into the basement, which I actually have put these copper lanterns up over here because I love the way that they look, and they look really good down in this tunnel. Oh, I did work on this area a little bit too, so we have a little bit better archway here for our super tree, which I like. But yeah, that's where all of those machines are going to end up going. So that is not their final resting point over here. This is not it. Do we have any blaze rods yet? No blaze rods. 5% chance. Come on, give me the blaze rods. So these will be moving. Now, I did read the comments from the last episode with people who were telling me, hey, you could just go ahead and run the power this way and put it in the middle of this and run the other item pipes down there. And I appreciate that. It is kind of something I was thinking of. But I'm not doing that because, honestly, it messes with the aesthetic of my house. I know that's a dumb reason, but it's my reason, and that's all I have to say about that. So, the aesthetics of my house come first. Efficiency and industrialization are way down the list. So there. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today in this episode. I hope this was helpful for everyone. I hope this was helpful for those of you who are playing the pack and are trying to figure out how to get some better gear early game. I hope this helped you out with that that particular task that you're trying to accomplish. I mean, it's like I said, it's a combination of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way that I did it. I just found this way to be the most efficient and the one that I enjoy doing, other than, bees or any of the other kind of ways of doing it. Just doing like enchanting setup, fishing setup, quarry all tombstones, and then explore and adventure and use the salvager. I mean, that's kind of how I like playing the pack, and I've had a really good time doing it. So, but I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found this useful. And I hope you'll be back for the next episode. On the way out the door, make sure you click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Did you know 810% of you aren't subscribed? That's right. More of you are not subscribed than there are people who are watching this video. I couldn't believe it either. In all seriousness, no. If you do enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. But if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. I do this for fun. I do this for entertainment. Don't feel like you're ever being pressured into subscribing or doing anything else while you're here on one of my videos. But whatever you do tonight, make sure you go out, play some games, have some fun. I'll see you all again real soon. Have a good night, everybody.